Welcome to Blind Level Tech. I'm Jonathan Price.
I'm Evan Starnes.
And together, we're bringing you news, tech, and information about blind technologies.
Being blind doesn't mean you have to stop living.
We're going to show you just how possible it is to live the life you want. Uh-oh. What happened?
So I'm in Studio C.
Right.
Actually, no, it was in... Yeah, I'm in Studio C because I originally thought Studio B would work, but then we still had it set up, and I'm like, I don't want to go messing around with settings right now and stuff. So, and then Studio A has no mic, so I'll have to go take the other one out, and yeah. So just trying to.
Well, there you go.
Studio hopping, and then I loaded up the Squadcast page, and it was like, oh, you're out of memory, which is weird because I'm not running anything.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well,
all sorts of weirdness.
That's okay. Upgrades are coming to the studio soon.
I've heard.
So, well,
hopefully.
I mean, they're coming in the form of, I guess, moving.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not too worried about that. So, well, welcome to Blind Level Tech. Jonathan Price with my co-host Evan Starnes, the one and the only. How you doing, buddy? It's been an interesting week.
It has been an interesting week, and it's been an interesting day so far, honestly. But
it really has.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my usual routine has been kind of completely thrown out of whack.
Yes.
I started the day off this morning. I ended up going to my friend's place last night and hanging out for a long time. I got back kind of late last night.
Yeah.
And yeah, I started the day off. I think I spent a little bit too much time trying to make my hair and everything look good for the in-person meeting. And then I went to go check rides, and they were like, oh yeah, it's over $50. I'm like, oh yeah. Right. That's
Jeez.
Great.
Yeah, you had quite an interesting Uber experience this morning. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was supposed to be going to the a fire department basically, and because we were having our meeting at a fire department, and the guy, I've only had an Uber driver like this one other time, but the guy was very quiet. He didn't really say anything. In fact, he was just like, when I got in the car, he was just like, "You good?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." And he sounded a little irritated. I'm like, "Just bro, do you want to be an Uber driver?"
Oh man.
And the car, I mean, he had a nice car, but man, it's if you've ever wondered if anybody has not smelled BO, that would be the it was
That's rough.
I'm like, dude, you're working in a customer facing role, and like,
oh man.
I don't even know. He seemed all right, but he dropped me off. Like, he was like, "You're okay," and he didn't even say, "You're okay." He was just like, "You're." I'm like, "This is the Boulder, this is the fire protection district, all that stuff, right?"
Right.
And then he was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Okay." So I thought it was dropped off in front of the front door, but no, I was dropped off by the garage door where the emergency vehicles pull out, and thank God that
what is there?
There was no emergencies, and so. But the good thing, the nice thing is the guy saw me through the window in the door, and he like opened it and let me in through the engine area or the engine bay and everything. And
okay, so would you rather ride in a car with a guy with a bunch of BO, or would you rather ride in a car that had been delivering pizzas for years?
I'd rather ride in a car that had been delivering pizzas for years, because I like the smell of pizza.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I knew a guy who all he did was, part of his side job was delivering pizzas, and he bought a car dedicated just for delivering pizzas because he couldn't get the smell out. And so after you've been delivering pizzas for years, your car really smells like pizza, and he just didn't want that smell in his car anymore. So he used it for specifically that and bought a new car. So,
jeez, I feel like I'd get pretty sick of the smell of pizza after a while.
Yeah, me too. So I got some cool, I don't know if it's a really tech. I got a new microphone boom arm, the Rode NT1 Pro, and or PS1 Pro. I don't remember what it is, but it's awesome. It's super quiet, and I can move my microphone now all over my desk. And I built actually a 4-unit rack mount, so I can put my gear in a rack now that doesn't have to sit like on top of my desk. It's still sitting on top of my desk, but it's in a rack mount.
That's cool.
So I did that. That was fun this weekend, and I'm going to potentially get a new audio interface. And so, yeah, I'm going to sell my Personas, my little 192 mobile, and it'll be good. I'm excited. It's been fun to get some new tech. So
yeah,
yeah.
I got a power bank. I mean, it doesn't sound that exciting, but it was apparently a power bank that was listed in the New York Times, and it was cool because I was at my girlfriend's last week, and I was like, hey, my phone's at like, I saw my phone was at like 15-20%. It was like 11 at night. I'm like, I need to get home. And this is my lifeline. Man. You know, I got to get an Uber. And, you know, I remember she had this really good power bank. And so she let me borrow it. And it's, I honestly couldn't recommend it more because it's a very no frills power bank. It doesn't have the flashlight or any of that crazy stuff that might.
Right.
Because I have some other power banks that have like flashlights and solar power or solar.
Yeah.
I actually have a really cool one that has a solar panel. You have the bigger version of what I have.
Yeah.
But this one is a no frills, and it's probably about the size of a power brick for a phone. It's like not like the little tiny cubes, but like
a normal size, like what they used to be.
Yeah,
like the 2-inch like power bricks.
Yeah, and it's this little thing, but it's got 10,000 milliamp hours of battery life in it. So,
like a charge and a half.
It actually charged my phone when I borrowed Valerie's. It charged my phone twice from a dead battery, and it's like I said, it's super simple. You got a full-size USB port on one end and a USB Type-C with quick charging on the other end. So if you have an iPhone or a phone that has fast charging, it will work with it, and it works really well. So
that's good.
I was like, I need one.
It's too bad we don't have any audio. We could do like a tech demo on that. So.
I know, and that's a good lead-in because we are going to try it. And oh my goodness,
yeah, you're going, all sorts of stuff's going off.
Yeah, that's my Outlook. I forgot to hit the mute switch, but my something's happening. My work email's going off the charts right now.
That's okay.
There we go. And my phone's really hot, huh? Okay, wow. That's fun.
Evan's phone's gonna blow up in his pocket.
Actually, it'll be on the studio table. It'll put a hole through the studio table. If you guys hear a giant boom and then silence from my end, you'll know what happened.
Bye, Evan.
Bye. Nice knowing you guys.
Well, at least you went out doing something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. What were you saying about the tech tips?
I was going to say that's actually a really good lead-in into just a quick thing. Like I know we said we're going to try and do more sound, so yeah, we're going to try and do a lot more. Like somebody particularly mentioned, especially with the expensive like the Orcam My Eye device that I reviewed a few months ago, or like Braille note takers and stuff like like the Braille Sense, or even the new HumanWare Victorator Stream that just launched a couple of months ago. Like, people want to hear, what does it sound like to unbox the product? And what does it feel like? And what does it sound like when you turn it on for the first time? What comes in the box? How do you set it up? So we're going to try to do, and actually we're going to do it. We're going to do some more demos, and they're going to be a more like sound effect kind of based. So you're going to actually hear a lot of really good recordings of like, the unboxing process and the device turning on for the first time. And I will do, I'll be describing the device in question. So there's going to be a lot more of that eventually. We're going to figure out the best way for it to work. But yeah, expect you guys will definitely get some more audio demos. The sounds are fun.
We've tried to do that in the past with a couple of our episodes, and the audio quality, while we're trying to make it as authentic as possible, sometimes gets lost or degraded when it's uploaded or when we're editing it. And so we're going to try to get the best possible recordings as obviously possible. But Evan, I want to switch gears for a second, if we can, and get into our kind of our topic today. And I would like to talk about the concepts of accessible tech and why we use it. And the first question I have when I think about why do we need accessible technology is just that. What is accessible technology and why do we need it and who is it for?
Well, accessible tech or assistive tech is really technology that's designed to make life easier for us as, me as like a, I'm blind, it's tech designed to make my life easier. It is tech designed to make, tasks that would be considered inaccessible. It is designed to make it accessible. Right. It is designed to give us more information than we otherwise would have. For instance, with, since I can't see like signage or, product labels and stuff, there's technology designed to give me that information.
Yep.
So some of it's filling, some of the tech is filling in, the gaps for, visual, other, so that's pretty much what,
there's a couple of different things that we need to think about, especially when it comes, I guess, for me, for the website, the web development, because that's one of the biggest places that accessibility is having a hard time. And, there's according to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, that they put out this, I guess this web content must be kind of paper. And they say that it must be perceivable, web content must be operable, understandable, and robust. And so looking at those for perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust, it's pretty easy to make sure that, or it's pretty easy, I guess, to extrapolate that over all of low vision tech, especially with us, or deafblind tech in our case. So where do we start with making things perceivable or operable, understandable, or robust?
Well, it could really start with the design of the product itself, making sure that, if it has controls, that they are clearly labeled both in Braille or large print, if we're talking an assistive product, or even, just a, regular consumer electronic or device, just making sure that that the interface makes sense and that there's nothing on it that would like touch controls. Think of that for instance,
right?
Like some tech that's come out. I mean, a lot of kitchen appliances, nowadays, for instance, we got a refrigerator that has buttons on it, but they're touch sensitive, so you can't feel for them. Yeah. And that would be considered inaccessible, and that would definitely be inoperable for somebody like me who, you could find workarounds, but it's not they're not perfect.
What's the most frustrating thing to you about accessibility in, I guess, just in general, and when it comes to tech specifically? When it comes to tech,
I feel like most of the time accessibility is kind of an afterthought. I feel like, especially with websites, you brought up web accessibility, and I'm like, oh boy, you could open
yeah, I know.
You could open a bucket of worms with that because, web accessibility actually has a set of standards in place, and they actually have a list of. There's a thing called WCAG, which I don't really. I was just going to say
WCAG. Yep.
Yeah.
Web Content Accessibility Guidelines.
Yep. And they are very strict and specific for a reason, because screen reader users, are a little different than magnification users in the fact that, we do everything with a keyboard. So if your website, if you can't navigate around the website with a keyboard, or if there's some elements that just are images, and they, it's not accessible. And you're going to have a lot of, if anybody visits your site and, they're a screen reader user, you're going to have a lot of frustrated people.
I think AINC's website is 100% accessible, correct? Or are we pretty close to that.
We're pretty close. There's some little iffy things that we've been kind of playing around with, mainly with regards to like our audio player when, you load a podcast.
Yeah. But for the most part, we're pretty accessible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And accessibility of tech in general, like I do think it's starting to become more of like a consideration for companies and developers, but it's still kind of in the background. And this is a conversation that many blind and visually and low vision people have had on many podcasts, I'm sure, before. So, for people out there that have listened to those podcasts, you're probably used to hearing this. But, it's an afterthought. Like they, often like companies will design a product and then, they'll realize, oh, wait, people, if you can't see the display or the buttons, you're not going to be able to use this. So they'll try to throw some sort of like a screen reading function or something on, but usually it's either too descriptive or it doesn't work well enough.
Okay, so then outside of your iPhone, what is the most beneficial piece of accessible tech that you currently have?
I would say my Braille note taker, because the thing with the Braille note taker and that really makes it like an asset in my life, that makes it a device that I can't be without, is the fact that it's discreet. It's not discreet in the fact that, people can, you have to wear it around your neck, people will see it and all that. It's discreet in the fact that, if I'm in an area, if I'm in like a meeting or something and I need to just jot a quick note down, I can just fire it up and, take notes silently and they're all in Braille. Or because it's a full-fledged note taker with Android, I'm able to discreetly kind of just browse the web or keep all I keep my books on it. My Braille and audiobooks are all on that one device. And it's, the fact that it can give me the Braille output is huge because otherwise everything would just be auditory, and sometimes you don't really want to have that auditory feedback, especially, if you're already listening to something generally. Yeah, I'd say apart from my iPhone, it'd be my Braille Sense. I love my Braille Sense.
That's awesome. So we have different modes of technology. We have physical technology, which I would equate to like cane travel, like assistance for canes, for navigation, that type of stuff. And we have electronic assisted devices like our phones, our websites, things like that. When a company is trying to develop a product for those who are blind, low vision, where do we start? What are some of the things that are holding companies back? I mean, companies have been coming and going, trying to create these amazing accessible things. And next week, we're actually going to have on two of the guys from Hearsay, who they do some indoor navigation stuff. And so they're going to talk a lot about kind of what we're talking about this week. But we wanted to give some overview and oversight of what, I guess, some of the concepts behind accessibility is. So when you take physical tech and you take, I guess, electronic tech, where should companies start when trying to develop either the company or this particular product? What are your thoughts?
Well, the big thing is a lot of companies don't actually figure out what the community as a whole is looking for. They usually have this vision of a product and they'll develop it, and then, it'll, especially if you're a community of, I'm going to use this word because I love it. But if you're a sightling a company of nothing but sightlings,
right,
and you're developing a product geared toward people like myself who are blind, but yet you've never spoken to somebody who's blind, you've never seen how they use assistive tech, but yet you want to make an assistive device,
right,
and usually the device will come out, and it's nowhere near what we're looking for. So,
well, and a lot of those companies are for-profit companies anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, there aren't a whole lot of not-profit or non-for-profit companies, and they've got a bottom line. These for-profit companies have a bottom line to maintain. And so you can do focus groups, but that's not really community based like what you were talking about.
No, definitely not. But yeah, the big thing is really figuring out what what your community wants. Because if you make a product that your community wants, if you kind of you go with your original vision, but you also try and figure out what we as a community are looking for, and you meld those two things together, you're going to have a good product, and it's going to give you the results you're looking for, and that's a pretty big thing. That's pretty important. I mean, it's the difference between selling and not selling a product.
Right.
So
who are some of the biggest players that you see? I mean, I know we talk about Apple and Windows kind of being at the top, but even or Microsoft, sorry. Even those two companies, or I mean Microsoft specifically, they're very much kind of like an afterthought when it comes to implementing accessible technology. And they tried, what was the voiceover that they tried so hard to push on everybody, and everybody's like 3 months after it came out, they're like, no, we're good with this voiceover or voice assist, or what was it called?
Oh, it wasn't. Was it a screen reader?
No, Microsoft came out with that like a voice.
I think maybe it was assistant.
Or a virtual assistant. Maybe it was a screen reader, but it just flopped, and they're still trying to push it. But
it wasn't Cortana.
No.
Because Cortana. Oh,
maybe it was a voice assist. I don't know, but when we talk about like Apple, or because Apple, they have really taken the accessibility, and while it's really slow to come out, they have taken the ability to put forth a really good product at the forefront. Mm-hmm. And that's what I appreciate, particularly for me, about Apple. Even though I'm a sightling, I appreciate the foresight to making sure that tech or accessibility tech is good when it comes out and not just a flop.
And that's the difference that's kind of what differentiates Apple between a lot of other companies, because like Samsung, they came out with their first ever smartwatch back, way back, their first ever smartwatch in like 2011, and it had no screen reader, it wasn't accessible at all. And for a while their smartwatches and stuff were not accessible. But Apple just, their first Apple Watch had voiceover. Even the HomePod has voiceover, and their Vision Pro reality, headset or virtual reality headset that has voiceover, and a whole bunch of accessibility features that I'm really looking forward to playing with at some point. But they really kind of baked in the accessibility into the product while it was being designed, as opposed to slapping it on afterwards. And a while ago, I remember there was a project, I believe, and it was called the Born Accessible Project. I think I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. And that really is like part of its goal is to make sure that, new and upcoming tech is already accessible and already has the interface and the technology so that, we can everybody, regardless of disability, can use it.
Yeah, I think when I was going back, I was trying to look on Windows or Mac or Microsoft. And it's a program called Narrator, and it's the narrator, like the built-in screen reader, kind of what you were talking about.
Narrator is a screen reader. So Narrator's got its own weird history because originally back in the 90s, with Windows 95, Windows 98. All the old, real old days.
Windows 2000.
Yeah. So it's funny you specifically mention that. So, back in the 90s, computers, whether it was Windows or Mac, didn't come with any built-in screen reading software at all. In fact, you would have to often go out and buy screen readers that would come on floppy disks. Often the most popular option, and still the most popular option for now, is JAWS. and you'd have to go pay like a few hundred, I think upwards of $1,000 to get the program.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yep.
once you'd install it, you'd be fine. So when it came to like setting up your computer for the first time, and going through the Windows setup and stuff, there wasn't really an accessible way of doing that at the time. You couldn't just whip out your smartphone and your iPhone or Android and, open Be My Eyes or, FaceTime your sighted relative, or, you'd have to...
You have to get creative with your workarounds.
Yeah. And so basically, Microsoft came out with Narrator starting in, I believe it was either Windows 2000. And it was interesting. It worked
Right.
as far as like it would tell you things you were on, but the way it worked as a screen reader, it was just horrible. I mean, it was sometimes not verbose enough. Sometimes it was way too verbose. By default, I remember it would tell you what arrow keys you were hitting. So anytime you were like reading a document, it would be like down arrow before you get to the text, and it was just horrendous.
That's funny.
And so it kind of stayed that way. And, they sort of did some little tiny refinements. It was very basic. You didn't even really have too many keystrokes. There was you couldn't use it. I don't even know if you could use it in the Windows login screen. I think you could, but it didn't work very well.
That's weird.
There wasn't even a keyboard shortcut to launch it. You had to go and into your start menu and type in Narrator, or you had to hit Windows U and open up the Ease of Access Center and start it that way. So it was there, and it was usually used, and we used to. People have joked about this. It was the screen reader to install other screen readers. It was like
yes.
It was like using Edge to install Firefox or Chrome, which is what I do.
Yeah.
So, but eventually, starting in Windows 8, they did try and start kind of improving it a little bit. They added they added a screen reader key, so like a hotkey that used to access screen reader functions. So they added a narrator key. They added like cute little sounds and a menu that you could actually go in and customize the verbosity level of narrator. And eventually they started adding like a feature. They added a feature called scan mode, which is basically like forms mode or focus mode with JAWS and NVDA. So it would allow you to like interact directly with an application like a text box, or it would allow you to just kind of explore the screen using the arrow keys. And eventually they added better quality voices and more sounds, and they even added different key maps. And key maps are kind of a thing, they're very important because it's basically the set of keystrokes that you use to control the screen reader. And it allowed you to even use like keyboard layouts similar to JAWS and other screen readers. So eventually they've really perfected it and made it, a pretty decent screen reader. It's not perfect by any means, but it's a lot better than it was. Of course, since Windows 8, there's been a keyboard shortcut to turn on and off narrator, which used to be Windows Enter, but now has been, and I haven't seen this change, but it's been Control Windows Enter, and it'll toggle narrator on and off.
That's good.
So they have tried, and obviously for those who don't know, Microsoft they actually did do some really cool accessibility stuff. They did make the app Seeing AI, which we've talked about before. It's it's that camera. It's a camera app. They did do this really good navigation app called Soundscapes, which has been discontinued for reasons I can't even comprehend.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah.
They made it open source and something like that, and then after doing that, they just dropped it. And it was an amazing program, and I just can't fathom.
I don't know what happened to it. Yeah, that's crazy. So, as we try to wrap this up, when we're thinking about where technology is going to go, what are there any exciting things about technology that you personally find as a positive thing, is a good thing moving forward? Is there a piece of tech that's going to really set itself apart, that's going to launch us into a new era of tech? I know you've mentioned, I know we talked about HearSee. They're going to be on next week. And then the Apple, the
Vision
Visor,
Pro.
the Vision Pro. Yep. And then is there any other tech that you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to revolutionize what we're doing?
Well, honestly, it is the Vision Pro. It's and tech YouTubers and junkies like myself and even some of my friends were discussing this. It is like the Apple Vision Pro. I think that's what it's called. I don't know if they've changed the name since then.
Yeah.
Their spatial. They had a term for it, but that little headset that they're coming out with now, it's a first generation product, but it's going to be the next big thing, post iPhone, post smartphone in general.
Right.
And it's going to, first of all, make it possible for us to have immediate access to information, even as blind people. Like, I imagine there's going to be apps that take advantage of the camera hardware, both on the outside of the headset, and that allow you to do some, it'll allow you to do some navigation with like AR, especially if you're outside navigating.
Right.
Not that I'd walk around outside with a giant headset on my face, but
Right.
That's really going to be the next big thing, in my opinion. And it's going to be like right now, if you can't read a label, or if you want to figure out what color your shirt is or whatever, in my case, or something like that, you use your phone, and eventually it's just going to be right there. And
it's the first iteration maybe of the Geordie LaForge, visor. And I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but in reality, I mean, we've had not AI, we've had like the Oculus, and we've had some of these,
we've had VR for a minute, long time. VR,
really long time.
Actually, yeah,
even
VR's
back in the 80s.
There was the Virtual Boy. I mean, we've had VR
Virtual
for a minute.
Boy.
Yeah, throwback.
I totally forgot about the Virtual Boy. Oh, I love that stupid thing.
I know,
the little tripod and the goggles and the and
it was like you can only wear this for an hour, and I think it would even remind you to take it off or something like that. And then
but it was just like the black screen with the red lines and stuff.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
It was so bad, but cool.
So funny.
And it was a flop, by the way. Just saying.
It really was. It really was. I had a friend who had one. But anyway, all that to be said, VR has been around for a really long time, and
VR
just
and
now
AR are going to be the next, especially with AI. I mean, they're all going to kind of meld into this,
right
revolution, basically tech revolution.
Tech revolution. Yeah, and hopefully, it's a stretch, but maybe we could get our hands on some Apple Vision Pros. We'll see. They're $3,500.
We'll try.
So, we'll try.
I know me and Valerie and a couple other friends planned to go split the cost of one. We were going to go to the Apple store and check out one. And
nice.
I remember Valerie's like, we're not walking out empty-handed. Like we're going to walk out with a
there you go
headset in our hands.
I wouldn't mind having one just to have like a 200-inch screen to work on with Logic.
Oh, that would be
awesome. That would be super cool.
And I want to see what it does with the spatial audio aspect of things too, because
that will be interesting.
Yeah, Apple and its spatial audio has been incredible.
Yeah. So,
again, they're not the first, but they made it big.
Yeah. All that to be said, there's a lot of cool things about technology, and we really just wanted to talk about where technology was going, why it's here, what we're doing with it, and just to make sure that you guys have access to it. And just to let you know that we're doing a lot of tech demos. We're going to be doing more of those things. And we've got some more guests coming on our shows, and so it'll be awesome. Evan, tell us some more stuff about what is happening at AIN as we wrap this thing up.
Well, yeah, we're still working on our name change. The hike is coming up. It's coming up in August, and our audio trekkers hike here in Boulder, Colorado. I'm excited for it, but then again, I like hiking, and
yeah, absolutely.
So that's our big thing that's coming up. And I forget the exact date in August.
August 12th.
Okay, August 12th. Yeah, so it's going to be August 12th. It's just a 1-day thing. It's not going to be like it has been in the past,
Right.
We're gonna meet here at AINC, have some breakfast, some words of inspiration, and then hit the trail. And then there's going to be some lunch. I'm advocating for beer because
You would.
of course I would. And I only say that because the previous 2 summits I was under 21, and now that
Yep. Was it at the last summit or the summit before that they had something at the top for anybody who wanted it? And I don't remember if that was actually a thing, but the thought of getting to a summit and then drinking and then trying to walk down a mountain just seems really dumb to me.
I
But
think I'd roll down the mountain.
I would too. Absolutely. Well,
That's the
Evan,
big thing.
any final thoughts as we wrap this sucker up?
No, but thank you to all of our loyal listeners. We really do appreciate the continued feedback, the listenership, and we're glad you guys are enjoying the show. It's seriously one of the highlights of my week is, getting to sit in front of a microphone and goof off and talk about one of
That's
my
right.
favorite things in life.
It's been an awesome ride. And just so you know, AIN as a whole won some awards this last weekend at the IAAIS convention. Aftersight won an award for best show with skiing with Evan and Penn. So congratulations to Aftersight and everybody who worked on that. So that's awesome. And then we also won for the was it Denver Post? I think
It was the Denver Post. It was, I think it was the Saturday edition of the Denver Post, read by a really, really talented reader / producer. I believe he actually, he's really cool. So glad to see that one. But yeah, we got AINC got 2 national awards, and they're sitting on this little display case in the front lobby. And I'm just checking them out this morning.
So we're really
cool.
We're really proud of we're proud of the work that we're doing, and we've over the last year we've had over 25,000 downloads for all of our podcasts. So we're very thankful for that, and we know we're a very small niche kind of audience, but I mean that's a pretty good chunk to take home at the end of the day. So we're super thankful for everybody out there. I really don't have anything else to say. I'm just stoked about that.
Yeah, please though, if you have any requests or feedback or anything, please tell us because it helps. It's we read all your feedback. We consider it. Please continue sending it because it is incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. Well, for AINC, Evan Starnes, I'm Jonathan Bryce. Don't forget to plug in your devices and enjoy some tech this week. We'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good one.